YouTube, Fantasy Beasts, and Tiki Tribe, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I did have that up.
Do you have those sheets or no?
I forgot to print the sheets, but I have the full chart here.
Where are our... I hate never getting updates. Yeah, there we go.
Let the rain fall down. I'll share it.
I always try to.
Should be able to start. Guys, welcome back. Week 3 NFL Fantasy Football Live. I don't know if we're going to turn this, really. Apparently this thing doesn't want to rotate. How do I change that? What do I do here?
I have no idea. Should I just take the chance?
Should I just take the chance and start Tua instead of Herbert? I'm thinking Tua might have a good day against the depleted Bills defense. So the biggest problem here is if Herbert's going to go, Herbert's actually having to sign a waiver. They have to do the same exact type of thing they did for Tyrod when Tua was a rookie and they punctured his lung. So
I'd say go with Tua, just because, like you said, we got a depleted Bills defense, and I mean,
well, I would ultimately I would say wait to see closer to game time. I believe they're both 1 o'clock games. Or
I just with the safer play today, because with how bad rib injuries can kind of be hit or miss, and if he's going to be scared to take
LA is a 4 o'clock game anyway, so yeah. No matter what, I think you gotta go Tua.
I think, especially if you're going to be scared to take a hit, he might be shying away and sailing some balls there. I think Tua's a safer play today, especially with what they got 2 rookies in there, maybe 3 rookies, and
2 rookies, second-year safety and a third-year safety.
I
2
think
of which have
Teron
never
Johnson
seen
might
time.
be being moved to safety.
That would make no sense.
I saw something in that he's been playing a little nickel safety in there. They might be considering him into moving him in there.
I would hate that. You're already depleted enough at the corner, and he's a top 10 nickel corner in the league. I'm keeping him there, and you're hoping Jaquan and DeMar can do what they need to do.
Yeah.
You've learned from Poyer and Hyde. I'm assuming Poyer and Hyde will be on the field. You would assume to help them any vantage points and help them learn.
What was Poyer's injury?
Foot, and I think it happened during practice this week.
Let's see how long he's out.
It did not.
Did we get Tim Settle back?
I haven't seen him ruled out actually. I have not seen him officially ruled out.
I know we elevated 2 defensive tackles from the practice squad.
Eli Anku and
Morning, Ryan.
Morning Ryan. Yeah, sorry Ryan, we're a little bit off here. It's been a hectic morning. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, but that's showbiz, baby.
When the shit hits the fan, we shit back.
I hope we sound pretty good.
Yeah, if there's any issues here, guys, let us know. Our normal microphone, as you might notice, is usually in the middle. Is it's depleted. It's gone. So,
So we did a little bit of improvising this week.
our lighting's here. The AFC's champion signs above us.
Josh Allen.
The Tiki Bar in which we were featured this past week on Channel 4.
Yeah, that's
Channel
pretty cool.
4, yeah. Bill's Basements, Bill's Garage.
NFL.
Probably the best one I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen a better bar in a garage or in a house.
You might not be too, swayed in your opinion, right?
No. Completely biased.
Unbiased, you mean?
Unbiased, yeah.
Good morning, Brandon. How's it going, man? We'll start out injury reports here. I guess it's time to do that. Arizona Cardinals, James Conner, listed as questionable going into the game. Is slated to test things out pregame. Optimism he will play in the contest. So that'll answer Fox's question if he's watching.
I Joe Biden did that.
However, big however, we've seen James Conner when he plays injured and it doesn't end up really well.
Yeah.
I still don't advise starting him unless you're in an absolute need to start situation. Rondell Moore, he's out again this week. Expected to be ready by week 4 or 5. Linebacker Ezekiel Turner will not play this week. Atlanta Falcons, I think I'm just going to start adding like the updated stuff, like guys who've been out long term or aren't big deals. We're going to pass this year. It'll make it a lot quicker than last year when we were going through a million injuries. Atlanta Falcons, Elijah Wilkerson, offensive tackle. He's out due to a personal injury. And running back Damian Williams is still on the IR, so he will not see the field and might open up a little more for Tyler Algier this week. Baltimore Ravens, Marcus Peters' knee is questionable, but slated to play. I like that a lot if you're a Nelson Aguilar owner.
I think, no, I have a Russell Gage.
Aguilar's been pretty good the last couple weeks here. And realistically, if we can get that all fired up, hope that it's the same situation. Peters has allowed almost 18 points a game the last 2 weeks. So, granted, one of those was against Miami, but the dude's not putting up a great game against many people. So, Nelson Aguilar's been trending well, and Jacoby Meyer might not play this week. So, Brandon just picked up Nelson Aguilar.
There you go.
Cheers to you, Brandon.
Cheers. Nice job. May your fantasy team prosper.
Marlon Humphreys also questionable with a groin injury. So both corners.
He's been banged up a lot lately.
So is Peters. J.K. Dobbin expected to play Sunday, so he will make his season debut for the first time in 2 years here.
I bet you'll be on a snap count.
Oh, for sure. They refuse to play him for 2 weeks, and it's against New England. They'll snap count him. However, starting left tackle Ronnie Stanley going to miss his 3rd straight contest. Good thing they paid him all that money and let Orlando Brown Jr. walk, right?
Right.
The trials and tribulations of being a Ravens fan. Linebacker Tyus Bauer also out this week with the Achilles. Demarion Williams and Brandon Stevens, cornerbacks, are both questionable, so their entire secondary is banged up. Sounds like the Bills.
As banged up as we are, I think our secondary is pretty good, like rookie-wise. I know they're rookies, but they've been balling out.
Buffalo Bills. Gabe Davis is expected to suit up this week with his ankle injury. Jordan Poyer, safety, is not expected to play with a foot injury. Micah Hyde out for the season. Herniated disc in his neck. Mitch Morse is listed as questionable with his elbow injury. You got to assume he's going to play because he played the remainder of last week with it.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Settle, calf, is questionable to play. No other update besides that, which sounds like he's trending towards playing. Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, he's out with an ankle. Dawson Knox, tight end, he's questionable with a foot. Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle, he's out with an ankle. Cornerback Dane Jackson out with a neck injury. All things considered, that's pretty good news considering where that neck injury could have led to last week.
I wonder if it was just really bad whiplash.
I mean, no human's neck is supposed to touch their asshole.
Because they said there was no damage to the vertebrae.
That's a good sign. But yeah, so Buffalo definitely facing an uphill battle in terms of injuries. Good news with Tim Settle. You'd almost have to assume, I texted you about this during the week, Gary. You might see Greg Rousseau get some snaps at D-tackle.
I mean, I know Basham does that too.
And so does Epinesa. So I guess that's a good thing. They rotate the line pretty strongly. And you aren't losing your run stuffers.
We might see more of Von Miller not getting subbed out, which might not be good in the long run. But in a game like this where you don't have much depth, we might see a lot of Shaq Lawson too.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of Shaq, I think, rotating reps. Am I missing another defensive end?
I don't think so.
Wow. Interesting. Carolina Panthers, Stanley Thomas Oliver III. He's questionable with an Achilles. It's a great name. Dante Jackson's quarterback, he's questionable with a hamstring. Bravion Roy, defensive tackle, he is placed on IR. Chicago Bears, Roquan Smith, expected to suit up with his hip injury today. Dane Cruikshanks, cornerback, he's out with a hamstring. Linebacker Matthew Adams, he's out with a hamstring. Cornerback Jalen Johnson, he's questionable with a quad injury. Tight end Ryan Griffin, he's out with an Achilles. Third round wide receiver, the stud of this year's draft, the 27-year-old Velus Jones. He's doubtful again. Still has yet to make his season debut. Yes, it's absolute sarcasm. Cincinnati Bengals, Lael Collins. He's questionable with a back injury. That's bad news if you're a Bengals fan, given that they already have had a horrendous job of covering and protecting Joe Burrow. Guys, any thoughts? You have no clue we're on there right now, do you?
I was doing something at the same time. About what? Sorry.
I was just saying in terms of Lael Collins. He's also hurt as the tackle for the Bengals.
Oh yeah, and then they've let up a ton of sacks the past.
Didn't they
couple
pay him
of
a
years.
ton of money?
Yes. Hayden Hurst is questionable with a groin injury. Jermaine Pratt, linebacker, he's doubtful with a knee injury. Drew Sample out with most likely to miss the remainder of the season with MCL, PCL damage. Cleveland Browns, they played on Thursday. Dallas Cowboys, Jaron Kearse, he's out with a knee injury. Tight end Dalton Schultz, he's questionable with a knee injury. Linebacker Micah Parsons is questionable with an illness. He'll probably play. Gary, anything good over there on?
I was just looking at their. Adam Schefter just tweeted that Jaquan Johnson will start at safety for us, not Teron Johnson.
Yeah, I figured it would be Jaquan and DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah. They said they have a combined of 3 starts between everybody in our secondary.
Sounds about right. And I think all 3 of those, well, the 3 starters, considering they don't consider Nickel a starter.
Right.
Michael Gallup is questionable to play this week. He might make his season debut. Connor McGovern, guard, he's out. Quinton Bohanna, questionable. James Washington was spotted seeing field work, so he might be coming off the IR very soon. Denver Broncos, Jerry Jeudy, he's questionable with his rib injury. He's on track to play Sunday night. Patrick Surtain is expected to play as well. What?
He's always hurt too.
He's a rookie, or he's a second-year player. He's played through it. I think he played out his entire year last year. Quinn Miners, guard, he's got a hamstring. He's questionable to play. Darius Phillips, cornerback, he's out for Sunday night's game. Josie Jewell, linebacker, he is questionable. Draymond Jones, defensive end, he is questionable. KJ Hamler's questionable again. That kid just can't get healthy. What do we got here? Fox says audio sounds slow. We don't have much of an option here, Fox. We're kind of going with what we can. Sup, boys? Remember me, Donovan Nye. Any good defensive tackles you would recommend?
I went to school with him.
Yeah.
All right. D tackles. Donovan, are you in like an IDP league? Is that what we're looking at here, or would probably be the only thing I'd have to. I would assume he's talking IDP.
If it's an IDP.
That's a good question. I never really.
I have a way to finding that. I'm actually in a couple IDP leagues, so let me see.
It depends on.
It's going to depend on for sure if that's what we're aiming at here, or if he's just saying in general across the board. Let me see what's available and who should have a good week here. That'll mark a first.
Oh, yeah.
We've never had that.
Is that a redraft?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I need a wide receiver. I was looking at Ronnie Anderson.
Right, so I mean, in terms of top points, if he's available, and I would assume he's not, especially if you're starting all positions. But Chris Jones, he's available in my league. He's gotten 15 points total across 2 weeks. Jeffrey Simmons also 14 points. Deron Payne faces Philly. That's not a bad option. Did Jadeveon Clowney go out hurt? No, he didn't play at all on Thursday. Al Woods with Seattle this week. Seattle sees Atlanta. That's not a bad play at all if you need a real pinch player. I think a lot of that, though, came last week. Six solo tackles and 3 were for a loss plus a deflected pass. DJ Reader, not a bad option against the Jets. He said 3.5 and 8 points per week or per game. And Grover Stewart with Indy, also not a bad option. They're obviously going to be on the field a lot versus the Chiefs here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Donovan, if you were looking for anything else besides that, let us know. We'd be happy to try to help answer that question a little bit better. Detroit, DeAndre Swift questionable, but expected to play versus the Vikings. Aiden Hutchinson questionable with a thigh. He's expected to play. TJ Hawkinson is questionable with a hip. Jonah Jackson, guard, out. John Kaminsky, out. Frank Ragnow, questionable, center. Tommy Kramer, guard. He's placed on the IR. Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson's questionable, not expected to suit up. Randall Cobb, questionable with an illness, expected to play. David Bakhtiari, starting left tackle. His knee, he's finally trending on playing his first game of the season. Sammy Watkins, wide receiver. He is put on the IR with a hamstring injury. Expected to miss 4 weeks or so. Mercedes Lewis, questionable. Chris Barnes on the IR. Houston Texans, Kurt Hinish out with a foot injury. That's defensive tackle. Malik Collins, D-tackle, he's questionable with a knee. Isaac Yodom, cornerback, he's out for Sunday's matchup. Farrell Brown, tight end, he's out. Or he's questionable. Tight end Brevin Jordan Geary, he's out for the week. Ankle injury.
He's been having a rough year.
Yeah, he's not done a whole bunch. Austin DeCoulis, offensive tackle, he's out indefinitely with an ankle. Justin Britt, center, he is out. Placed on out with personal issues, placed on the reserve non-football illness list. The Colts, Yannick Ngakoue, he's questionable with a back injury, limited through practice this week. Shaq Leonard out for a third straight week with his back injury. Rookie Bernard Raymond, the offensive tackle, he is out with an ankle injury. Trevor Denbo, he is also out. He's on the IR. Jaguars Shaq Griffin, questionable with a hip injury. That's the only real issue with Jacksonville. Jacksonville stayed pretty healthy so far this year. Mm-hmm. Kansas City, Mike Donna, out with a calf injury. He's a defensive end. And Harrison Butker still out with the ankle injury. Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs. This is going to be one to monitor, guys. He is expected to go through his pregame warm-ups to determine if he's available or not. But it wouldn't be shocking to see him not play this week.
Who do they have as a backup there?
Mannion?
Who?
What did you say?
Josh Jacobs.
Who do they have as a backup there?
That's what I thought you said somebody completely different. I heard Josh Jacobs at first, and I thought you said somebody else was out.
I don't even know who their backup is. Brandon Bolden?
I think I'm actually playing Brandon Bolden in a dynasty.
Zamir White?
Zamir White, that's who it is.
That's what I'm worried about is Jacobs. Yeah, well, there's not going to be any clearer of an answer about Jacobs probably until game time. So if you can handcuff him, go for it.
Yeah, try to get Zamir White, or I think Bolden's available
But I'm
too.
also not expecting the Raiders to have much of a run game this week.
Right.
Defensive tackle Bilal Nichols, he's questionable with the shoulder. Trayvon Morig, questionable with a hip. Denzel Perryman, linebacker, he's out with an ankle. Hunter Renfrow, out.
Yeah, out.
With a concussion.
I'm sure I did take him out.
Nick says he's playing Singletary over Josh Jacobs at the moment.
Not a bad play.
Neil Farrell Jr., questionable defensive tackle. Andre James, questionable center. Aguilar, Duvernay, or Mooney. Look, last week we shit on Devin Duvernay. I'm still not going to change my tide on him because I still don't trust that anything's going to stay consistent in Baltimore. And if he didn't have that kick return touchdown last week, he would not have had points. I really want to say Darnell Mooney.
I like Aguilar this week.
That's the thing. I want to say Darnell Mooney because I really like Darnell Mooney, and I think he will bounce back this week, but I think Nelson Aguilar is your safest play for sure.
I like Aguilar too because it's your, like you said, safest play.
I've got Nelson Aguilar in a daily fantasy lineup for the week as my third wide receiver. He's cheap. He's value. They've been throwing at him a ton. His target share per week currently.
Yeah, you got him right
Click
here.
on game log. 5 and 6 targets a week, and Jacoby Myers out, so that target share is going to probably go to 7 or 8 this week. He's catching
6 for 6 last week for 110.
and 3 of 5. So
They're who with Kadero Hodge or Zach Moss?
Daryl Hodge.
I thought so too. It's in my flex.
I would go Nelson Aguilar though for sure, Brandon. Justin Herbert questionable, is expected to make the decision during pregame. about whether to take a pain-killing injection or not. Donald Parham Jr., doubtful. Still not expected to play with his hamstring. Corey Linsley, starting center, doubtful. I have any inkling in my mind here that Herbert sits because Linsley sits.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, 5 week 1, 6 week 2. Yeah, so 5 and 6. He caught 3 of 5 and 6 of 6. He's on pace catching more than 80% of his target share.
Yeah.
Aguilar?
Aguilar. I could see it going up to 8 to 9 this week. You gotta revert.
Especially if they don't have
Jacoby Meyer.
Jacoby
That's
Meyer,
what I'm saying.
right.
You have to revert your targets from Meyer somewhere, and I know they're not all going to go to Aguilar.
Right.
But you gotta expect 3 more probably.
More.
I think 3 more would go to him, and that puts you at a 9 or 10 target rate. Even if he catches 7 of those in a PPR, you're starting with 7 points.
And who do they got this week? They got the Ravens, right?
Who have not been very good against
secondary right now.
Yes.
Just good. Yeah, them in a great secondary.
I think in theory Aguilar's your guy. I do. I mean, I know obviously that means they can clamp down on him a little bit better.
Mhm.
I legitimately just picked him up because of tight end being hurt. That ruined up my whole lineup. Do you see this? Suspended, hurt. Like, getting 2 points a week.
And
My
your
bench is
IR is
shit.
completely full
I
already.
know.
Well, I mean, you got
I
IR
got stop
spots.
space on my IR.
You
but
didn't
I
have to
could
drop
literally-
people. You could just put Davis
No,
Price in your
It
IR.
wouldn't let me.
Why
I
not?
had to drop somebody because I put Godwin in my IR and it would still let me still sit in my roster size was too big. So I had to drop Isaiah Spiller.
It's because you can't have over. That doesn't make sense. J.C. Jackson doubtful for the Sunday night's game, Sunday afternoon's game.
Bench is suspended or hurt.
Keenan Allen questionable with a hamstring. It's gonna be a rough game if you're a Chargers fan. Tyler Matakavich out here looking like a burly beast. Steph Diggs, he's him. LA Rams, Van Jefferson has officially been placed on the IR with a knee injury. That's some interesting news. Guy who's been fighting to come back on and get on the show, and Van Jefferson now out for an extended period of time.
Does that mean OBJ resigns there?
I mean, he's not going to come back any sooner. I think it means somebody needs to step up, whether it's Skowronek or Tutu. Brian Allen, center, he's out with a knee injury. Kobe Durant, cornerback, he's out with a hamstring. David Long Jr., cornerback, he's out. Jordan Fuller, safety, questionable with a hamstring. Tremaine Ankrum Jr., he was placed on the IR with a lower leg injury. Troy Hill, cornerback, he's placed on the IR with a groin injury. Man, the Rams are falling apart.
I know.
The Jacobs active tweet came out.
He's officially active and up, Nick?
Yeah, but they still said that that right? You were just saying
I thought they said he was gonna.
it was a game time decision, which I mean it is a 1 o'clock decision, but
And usually actives aren't announced until.
It's 11. Usually they
Yep.
announce it.
Okay. Ian Rappaport literally did just say, Josh Jacobs, the Raiders flew Jacobs on a private jet overnight as he recovered from his illness. He was deemed out today, or he worked out today and feels good to go.
all right.
Adam Schefter's announced it. Breaking news from people in the chat. Thank you, Nick. Miami
thank you, of course.
Dolphins. Teron Armstead is questionable with a toe. Xavier Howard is questionable with a groin. Listen, I don't care if you're good to go from being questionable. That's never a good sign if you have to cover one of the elite corners in the league, or elite receivers in the league and Steph Diggs, and you have a groin that might hamper your speed. Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle, he's questionable to go with a knee injury. Ethan Carter and Hunter Long, tight ends, are both out. Cedric Wilson questionable with rib and toe injury. Minnesota Vikings. I don't know why every year, whenever B.C. Johnson gets hurt, he goes to the top of the injury report every year, no matter how long he's been hurt. Minnesota's really dinged up today. Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback, he's out with a quad.
They probably do it alphabetical by name.
No,
First name.
no, it usually goes by date of injury. Eric Kendrick, linebacker, he's listed as questionable. Harrison Smith, out for the game. So 2 of their starting secondary members also out there against the good Detroit players. Fire up Amon-Ra.
I also like Chark this week.
Yeah.
I got him on.
He had like 4 targets last week, just didn't catch any of them. So like the target chart, he had a big week 1.
Yeah, and I think I think you're going to see target shares drop a little in Detroit again. Because I think most of that last week was that DeAndre Swift was hurt. So they tried to not really target him, but I think we'll see it today. Bless you.
Bless you.
Linebacker Ryan Connolly out as well for Minnesota. Bless you. New England Patriots, Jacoby Meyer is not expected to play, although listed as questionable. Joshua Bledsoe, safety, he's questionable with a groin. Kyle Duggar, questionable after leaving last week's game. He's expected to play. Jalen Mills, Adrian Phillips, Raquan McMillan, Cody Davis, and Davin Godchaux, also questionable. No listed injury. Thank you for making me read your players' names, Bill Belichick, you bastard. New Orleans Saints, Taysom Hill is not expected to play today. Apparently, the Washington Commanders had an agreement to trade Jimmy Garoppolo to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo prior to his shoulder surgery in the offseason. Jameis Winston, questionable with a back, is expected to play. Alvin Kamara, questionable with ribs, is expected to play. Alontae Taylor, cornerback, that was the rookie third rounder out of Tennessee. He is placed in the IR. Marcus May, high dollar safety. He's questionable, expected to play. Paulson Adebo, he's questionable with an ankle, but he's expected to play. Ryan Ramczyk, questionable as well, starting tackle. New York Giants, Justin Lane, cornerback, he's out. Kayvon Thibodeau, listed as questionable, but he tweeted out last night he intends on playing, so.
That was that injury that he got in that one game where they
What is up, Joe Lee?
Chop his knee.
How are
Yep.
you?
Yeah, when they threw the chop block at him and toppled him. Good morning, Yosef. Azeez Ojulari, linebacker, he's questionable with a calf. Leonard Williams, defensive end, he's doubtful to go today.
Joe better get his ass over to the Tiki.
Yeah, it will be next week. He won't be here this week. Already confirmed. Breaking news on the air. Quarterback Aaron Robinson still out with the appendix, so big news for Dallas. How nervous is Herbert to have that team doctor give him some shots in the ribs?
It's not the same one.
No, it is.
I thought no.
They're making him sign a waiver if it's done. So
I thought he went to the Texans now.
Well, whatever it is, the team's clearly not playing around. They're making him sign a waiver. So
Right.
if I were him, I'm not doing it. Like,
I think
Tyrod's with the Texans.
No.
Tyrod's with the Giants.
Oh, you're right.
I'm pretty sure that doctor's with a different team now. I'm almost certain of it. I'm about to Google it.
Regardless, I wouldn't want
'Cause there's a
any part of
lawsuit on
that. Kadarius Toney's doubtful to play Monday. Wan'Dale Robinson is out. So Kenny Galladay getting fired up, I guess, boys.
Kenny Galladay, yeah. Love that.
Also means I have to go take out Kadarius in my Dynasty League after this.
Yeah, because Tyrod's suing him right now.
New York Jets, Zach Wilson still out. Expected to be cleared by doctors for next week. Jordan Whitehead, safety, questionable. Quinn Williams, defensive tackle, he's questionable with a foot. John Franklin Myers, defensive end, questionable. CJ Uzomah, questionable with a hamstring. Corey Davis, questionable with a knee. George Font, offensive tackle, also questionable. I've missed these Sundays where I'm going to sit here in the tiki bar like a gambling addict and panic behind the bar about things I can't control.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles, Landon Dickerson, he is questionable to go, starting center there. Derek Barnett, placed on the IR.
He still is with the team.
With the Chargers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then I
I'd
for
be nervous.
sure would not want
I would
that
be
shot.
I would be asking somebody else to do it.
San Francisco 49ers tackle Daniel Brunskill, he's out. Defensive end Eric Armstead, questionable with a foot. Colton McKivitz, offensive tackle, is questionable. Trey Lance has been placed on the IR officially after surgery.
Oh no.
Tyrion Davis-Price also placed on the IR.
Yep.
Seattle Seahawks, Joey Blunt, doubtful. Justin Coleman, cornerback, doubtful. Shelby Harris, defensive end, out. Quandre Diggs, questionable with a knee injury. Jamal Adams, out with the knee injury as well. So, I've been saying it all week. But Atlanta, this is your time to fire up your Kyle Pitts, your Drake London.
Please give me some Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is, dude, I have tried desperately to try to get my hands on Kyle Pitts in every redraft format I don't have him in because he's going to turn the corner this week. Kyle Pitts, confirmed, big game. Hard no from that doctor to even be in the room while injection happens. Yeah, I don't think he's going to play, quite honestly, Joe. I think he's going to sit out this week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rashad Perryman questionable, expected to suit up with the knee. Russell Gage questionable, expected to play with the hamstring. Leonard Fournette questionable, expected to play with the hamstring. Donovan Smith doubtful with the elbow. That's a starting tackle there. Skins would have been nice with handsome Jimmy G. I mean, I think the Skins are doing well with Carson Wentz so far. Cade Otton, tight end, he's doubtful with a personal issue. Akeem Hicks is out. It's one of their premier run stuffers there. He's out with a foot injury. So that could be something to watch for the Bucs game. Bucs have the Packers, right?
Yep, it's gonna be a tough NFC matchup this week.
Fire up Aaron Jones some more. You're starting to deplete the run defense there. Julio Jones, listens questionable. Chris Godwin out again. Obviously, the big news: Mike Evans out. He's suspended.
Fire up some Cole Beasley maybe today.
Cole Beasley is in.
And at least maybe not some. Maybe in like DraftKings or so.
I think I might play him in my Dynasty League, honestly. Tennessee Titans, Taylor Lewan, he's out for the year. Oh, what a shame. Zach Cunningham, questionable with a knee. Kyle Phillips, doubtful to go with a shoulder. Bud Dupree, out with a hip. Ola Adeniyi, out. Uga Amadi, out. Man, they're just giving me a list of all-pro names that I can't say.
Yeah.
Jamarco Jones, he was placed on the IR with an elbow injury. Chris Jackson, cornerback, he's out with an undisclosed. It sounds like Tennessee's just backing up shop already. Week 3, we're done for the year. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah,
Washington,
let's get a top pick.
Washington Commanders, William Jackson, cornerback, he's questionable with the back. Daniel Wise, defensive tackle, he's out with an ankle. Casey Toohill, D-end, he's out with an ankle.
Didn't they just re-sign Tannehill this year to like a big deal?
No. I think they gave him
Or like a restructure.
I think they restructured him with an additional year because it dropped the cap hit. Brian Robinson out with a knee injury and has avoided any ill effects while ramping up his workload, so he's looking good to go next week. James Smith-Williams, what a name. Defensive end, he's got an abdomen issue. He's questionable, as well as David Mayo, linebacker. He's also questionable. That'll do it for the injury report for this week, though, guys.
Frank is asking a question, but he said Gary can't answer. I just can't see the names.
Should I start Josh Jacobs, Michael Carter, or Breece Hall? Gary can't answer because he's playing Gary. Gary, who do you want him to not start?
I think you just leave the spot open.
I think that's a great idea. Just to leave that spot open.
Yikes.
Yeah, no.
I would. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
We probably talked about it already, but who are Jacobs playing?
That's what I'm double checking right now. Raiders are playing the Titans.
Titans.
It's not like the Titans were really great against the run.
No, they weren't amazing.
But they also, Buffalo didn't continue to run
we kind of
against them.
abandoned it because we were just on fire on the air, so.
I'd probably. See, the thing is, like, the Bengals haven't been bad against the run. That's the problem. Everyone's beating the Bengals through the air.
But possibly banged up Josh Jacobs, even though they said he's good to go.
But that's what I'm saying. The Bengals are facing Michael Carter and Breece Hall.
Who's getting the snap there more, Breece Hall or
Michael Carter's considered the starter.
Michael Carter is the starter. He didn't do shit last week against Cleveland, but he still had 10 points.
I'm still leaning more towards Josh Jacobs because if they didn't think he was going to play, why would they private jet him to the game? They didn't think he was going to be more.
Well, he's going to play, but I think the issue is like
the snap count. I'm wondering if he'd be on.
I'm trying to see here. Research opponents. I gotta find the Cincinnati running back.
That's a real good one. That's a tough. I'm still debating, but I think Josh Jacobs is your better play, just because I think he'll get a little more snaps. He might be on a snap count, but
Cincinnati has allowed the 11th fewest points to running backs. So they've actually been pretty stout against running backs. Whereas, what did we say? Titans?
Titans, yeah, Tennessee.
ESPN is letting us watch two goats fight each other right now.
Hey, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go fire up Josh Jacobs. Apparently, apparently, the Titans have allowed the second most points to running backs so far this year. And granted, I know the first game was the Saquon game, but fire up Josh Jacobs. We'll call it at that. We want to do some pick'ems.
Yeah, I love that.
Anybody else has a question, guys, jump on in. We'd love to answer. We'll finish up with some pick'ems. It's usually just right around to the time where inactives come out, and we'll get off the air. Detroit and Minnesota.
I like Detroit this week. Detroit's been a tough team to beat, and it's not like they're getting blown out. They've been a tough team to beat. They hung in there with Philly. I like Detroit this week.
I like Detroit too, especially given the fact that it's Minnesota minus 6.5, which I don't understand that line at all. I'm 1,000% going Detroit.
I haven't actually made the majority of my picks this week. But I like Detroit.
Good morning, Frank. You figured out how to look at our show online. We've got one Frank and another Frank, both on different platforms.
Yeah.
Who do you got, though?
I got Detroit as well, just because I think
They look good.
They look good. They do. They have definitely changed a lot around from last season to this season to look a lot better as an offense.
Brandon says Detroit is a weirdly good team. Love their coaching. That's it, man. Dan Campbell's on your biting knees, and that's what's firing the team up. Baltimore, New England.
I have New England, I believe.
I think I'm going to go Baltimore, and I hate it.
No, I do have Baltimore.
I'm going to go Baltimore just because I feel like if in a shootout between Lamar having to be the productive player and Mac Jones being the productive player, Lamar's going to be the one that wins it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Lamar. They did not play well against Pittsburgh last week, and not that Pittsburgh's a bad team.
Oh,
the New England.
Yeah, New England hasn't played well this year, and I don't see it changing.
And it was a one-score game against a Pittsburgh team that could barely score.
20-13 maybe.
Yeah, so I think, and I mean, Baltimore put up a lot of points against the Dolphins. I think Baltimore wins a blowout.
Yeah. Baltimore scored over.
It was like 42-39 or something like that.
Baltimore scored 42-38.
Yeah.
And then Baltimore hung 31 the first week against the Jets and almost lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
Did they lose that game?
No, I think
No, Flacco's comeback was it. They didn't look good against the Jets. I'm gonna say Baltimore continues to score, and if that's a factor. No one has scoring. We're not talking fantasy points, Frank. We're talking real life.
I don't think New England has the firepower to keep up.
That's the thing. If we're talking what they've done per game so far, Baltimore's averaging 35 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
New England's averaging 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Well, clearly by the math, unless we've got some weird Steiner math,
yeah,
Baltimore's the team.
Kurt Angle hasn't been interjected into the equation yet.
Yeah, we haven't added Kurt Angle as a third team, so Baltimore's got the 233 or 133 and 2/3% chance of winning or something.
Mm-hmm.
I do hate that Josh gave praise to Tua. I just don't love it.
He looks good.
In shorts?
No, just playing football right now.
Tua?
Yeah.
Well, I understand where the praise came from. Hey, I've been there. I've been the guy that everyone says you can't do it. To overcome the adversity and the people that say you can't do it, I respect you. I don't like seeing you win, but I respect you. I like that he said that.
Mm-hmm.
They're still calling Tua the sit-em. Wow. NFL Network with a bold prediction.
I'm right there with them. I don't think they fall out like they did against the Bills defense, even with us being banged up. Our rookies.
I don't think he
have been
throws for 7
balling out.
touchdowns.
Brandon says Jones is better than Tua. You mean Mac Jones, Brandon?
I could probably agree with that.
Yeah, he means Mac Jones. Here's the thing. Mac Jones, I think, is a very strong, very good pick when given the right options and the right offense.
I think
Bill Belichick's been horrendous at play calling so
right,
far.
and they don't have weapons for him. Give him Tyreek and Waddle. He has the same type
give
of
him Tyreek and Waddle. I think he's got better. I think Tyreek and Waddle make that team a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, instead you're throwing to Nelson Aguilar and Jacoby Meyer. No disrespect to those guys, but...
They're not Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
You got lobster and steak when he's
Frank
throwing
has a
belly
question. Cowboys defense or Patriots defense?
Who do the Cowboys play?
The Patriots play. We just talked about it. The Patriots are playing
Baltimore.
No.
Cowboys have the
Patriots
Giants.
Cowboys, because the
Cowboys,
Giants
yeah.
don't really...
Cowboys are your better option, but if you can pick something up, You might have a better option on the waiver wire because I don't like either of those options this week in terms of you. I think the Giants are coming out because they're being called the laughingstock of the NFL right now. They're being called the worst 2-0 team since 1982, right. And they want to come out and blow the doors off and prove, look, we aren't a fluke. So it wouldn't shock me to see both of those defenses have over 27 points against.
Yeah. I think the Pats defense will definitely have over 27 points scored against.
Well, they don't have a starting corner.
No, I'm just saying, that's going to, I would not put the Pats.
They're not the same Pats defense we used to see.
No. Well, I mean, you've got no J.C. Jackson. You've got no Steph Gilmore. You have no McCourty.
Their 8 linebackers are old.
Yeah, aging and old. I think the low-scoring game Monday with the Giants taking the dub. But that's the thing. I still think it could be like a 24-10 game, and that to me is still low scoring. Mm-hmm. You're definitely under. You're going to be under on your over/under. Mm-hmm. No one's playing 35 points at an over/under. The New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panthers.
What did
I think the Saints win it here. Carolina has just been bad. I got nothing against Baker Mayfield, but Matt Rule sucks, and I think this is the year they fire him.
Yeah, I have the same thing on my picks this week as the Saints, just because I think Jameson's going to be eating some dubs. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 3 talented receivers there in New Orleans now. Alvin Kamara should be back. Yeah, there's a little bit of injury there. They're dinged up a little on defense, but I don't see a way that this isn't just a blowout. I think the Saints just beat the piss out of the Panthers today. Houston Texans, Chicago Bears.
I believe I had the Bears.
This is a good one because they're both kind of in the same caliber. But I'm in with the Bears. They got embarrassed on Monday night. Was it Monday or Sunday night football?
Sunday night.
They got embarrassed in prime time. I like Justin Fields over Davis Mills. I think they come out and they smash the Texans in the mouth.
Here's the thing. I think this is going to be a get-right game for both teams. I think they're finally going to be able to kind of experiment. I don't think either team's defense is very good. So I think they're both going to kind of be able to work out those kinks and daddy issues on
I'm sort of a closet Bears fan, too. So
I don't hate the Bears. Brandon will love you all day for saying that because Brandon is a Bears fan. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to get to kind of see what we hoped we had out of Dameon Pierce.
I also sort of like the Texans too.
I just don't like Justin Fields.
I like the Bears a lot. So
I don't like Justin Fields.
Well,
he's from Ohio State.
You rooted for the Bears, though.
I know, but he's from Ohio State.
That's
why I couldn't be a Bears fan. Like you're the closet Bears fan.
I truthfully think you're going to see Dameon Pierce fire up.
He was my QB3 in that draft, I think, or maybe 4.
I think it was 4.
Yeah.
I think you had him above Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see Brandon Cooks have a good day. But I truthfully believe you're going to see Darnell Mooney get right. You're going to see David Montgomery have a day today. And I think the Bears take this game in the end. I think the Bears don't have a reason to lose this one. They look good, and they beat the Niners week 1, right?
They beat the Niners week 1. They looked good in the first 2 drives against the Packers, and the Packers just kind of took the game over.
Listen, they're a team that should have a run-first identity, and they need to open up with the run to make Fields a viable option in the pass. Also, fun facts, the last time they faced the Texans, David Montgomery wiped the fucking floor with Houston.
Yeah.
He had an 80-yard touchdown scamper. I think Monty's back. I think Mooney's going to go for... I think they're going to get the ball out to Mooney 9 times today.
Who's the home team?
Chicago.
Okay, what's the weather like?
Also a good question. Let's dial that up as we speak.
I almost wish the Bills were home today so that we were just playing in the piss rain.
Chicago is 62 and cloudy.
Okay.
That sounds like wonderful weather conditions to run the ball down Houston's throat. Chicago with the clean sweep. Kansas City, Indianapolis. Do we even have to answer this?
I think Kansas City by a mile.
Oh, Kansas City.
Even though I don't like it.
I'd bet eating a paper towel.
They lost
Kansas City Chiefs.
They lost to Jacksonville last week, so
Kansas City or Indianapolis might be picking in the top 10 this year.
Yes.
I know.
Well, that's what happens when you just keep trading for retread quarterbacks and your organization's so piss poor that your top fledged quarterback retires at 29 because he can't deal with it anymore. Brandon's out here loving the love and pump up for Chicago. We got you, Brandon.
I love the Bears. I'll go with that.
I like Justin Fields.
He's from Ohio State.
I can separate the player from the school.
They need to get him a stud receiver.
I didn't like him at Ohio State.
Darnell Mooney.
Well, I mean, like a one of those.
I think Mooney can be. Last year when Mooney was averaging 11 target share per game, he was a top 20 receiver in fantasy. He was super productive. They just have to get back to that.
He needs to get like a Waddle type of receiver.
That is Mooney. He just didn't go to a bigger school. Mooney went to an absolute no-name school, and that's why he just slipped so far down the draft. Tyreek Hill was the same way in his first 2 years. I think Mooney can still be that top wide receiver one. Philadelphia, Washington.
Philly's going to roll him.
I don't think they're going to roll him, but I think it's Philly. I think Carson Wentz has looked really good, and he's averaged 30 points a game in fantasy. But I think, as Carson Wentz tends to, he's going to make that timely interception, and Philly's going to win in a close, high-scoring game. Buffalo, Miami.
The Bills.
Ooh, it's going to be tough. I think Miami's going to keep it close, but I want to say Buffalo.
I'm going to continue with the score I've said all week. I'm going to say 38-31 Bills. We're going to be shaking. We're going to be angry. The Bills will edge it out because Josh Allen fucks. Cincinnati, New York Jets.
I think the Jets pull this one out.
I think Cincinnati's got it. I think they're going to get a bounce back week from the rest of their weeks.
I think the Bengals have to. I think if the Bengals don't win this week, you need to pull the ripcord. You need to have the emergency ripcord here.
I like the way Flacco's been playing. I don't like the way the Bengals have been playing. I'm going to go with the Jets on an upset.
All right.
The Bengals.
That is in New York though, so they might be getting the rain as well, which could be a big factor.
That's even worse for Cincinnati.
I don't think so at all. I would take Joe Mixon over Michael Carter and Breece Hall all day.
That makes Jamar Jefferson kind of irrelevant then.
Joe Elite Flacco, shut your mouth, Frank. But yes, the Bills score the 38-31, I gave that previously this week on our other show, Beast Picks with Kyle and Frank. Check them out over on the SS Ultimate Goku on YouTube or on our website at tikitribeproduction.squarespace.com.
You mean Elite Joe Flacco, who rode the defense to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's the running joke. But Frank actually believes he's elite, so.
Rode our defense.
So we had one Jet and 2 Bengals, right? I'm gonna have to change my FanDuel lineup if they're also getting poured on in the Meadowlands. So, that should be my thing. I really should just start waiting to put in my lineups until I see what the weather is the day of the game.
Like I said, I wish we were playing here this week. I'd take us in this weather over Miami.
All right. We might be in the clear. It's supposed to rain at noon, and then from 1 to 4, it's supposed to be 72 degrees and cloudy, and pick up thunderstorms at 5. Oh, we're not done yet, Brandon. Ask away, my dude. Raiders and Titans.
I got the Raiders just because the Titans haven't been the Titans that they were last season, and the Raiders picked up Devontae Adams, and they've kind of just looked a little better. I know Devontae Adams hasn't been crazy involved in their offense, but I just think that the Raiders have too many weapons to not win this one.
I think this is the week that Tannehill loses his job for the year.
Listen. We all have to keep our head on here because we already know that there's no way Devontae Adams is as good as Sammy Watkins.
Breece Hall or Miles Sanders.
That's what I'm trying to look into right now.
Okay.
I do not like Miles Sanders at all.
I don't either.
I don't know.
Any excuse to not put Miles Sanders in my lineup, I will find it. I'm trying to see what Washington's been against the run is a big thing.
I'm terrible. We get to the Jets yet? Who the Jets play?
Jets. We just talked about
I know,
that.
but
the Bengals.
My memory is.
I like Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. Yeah, the Bengals haven't been crazy good against the run.
They're 11th.
So.
They're like just out of the top 10, obviously. At 11.
So I think Breece Hall is the one you fire up on, in my opinion.
Washington's 25th in the league, which means they've allowed the 6th most points to running backs.
Oof. Okay.
Here's the thing. You got to understand, no matter what way you're going, you're basically asking a question here of who's going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
They're both going to get yardage, but Miles Sanders is incredibly touchdown dependent because Jalen Hurts takes all of the running touchdowns there.
I just think Miles Sanders is cheeks.
He is their go-to running back, but so is J.K. Dobbin. Like, it's I put the equation out the other day. You can basically call the Philadelphia Eagles running back room the same as the Baltimore Ravens. They run in a committee. You don't know who's going to get the touchdown, and everybody there's going to be touchdown dependent. At least with the Jets, you've only got one other direct competition with Michael Carter, and their snap count's pretty close. Miles Sanders, the last 2 weeks, has had 10 touches, 12 touches, and he's making the most out of it. Doesn't Hall share? Hall and Carter are 50-50.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hall and Carter, Carter last week
takes
had
a lot more of the passing reps.
Carter had 12 running snaps and Hall had 10. So like as close as you can get in terms of running.
Close.
But in Philadelphia, and yes, they're a run-first team. Morning, Robert. How's it going, dude? It's Sanders, Gainwell, Scott. So you have 3 running backs there in Philly, plus Jalen Hurts running the ball.
Yeah, so it's a lot of like mouths to feed running the ball wise in Philly is what he's trying to say. So
I just don't like.
I would go Breece Hall.
I don't like Miles Sanders,
but that is literally the most coin flip question we can get in the day.
It's a tough one.
I never draft Miles Sanders just because I don't ever like his matchups.
That's the thing. Sanders has Scott and Gainwell, I guess. You're right, but they're still giving the ball and touchdowns to everybody. It's the problem. Like that's the big issue. Week 1, Sanders rushed for 96. Last week, 80. I get the yardage is there, but if they give him more snap count, he's a top 10 running back.
What did Breece Hall have last week? Because if you think about it, let's say they had the same close amount of rushing. It's like Kyle said, it's a coin flip. Who's going to get the touchdown and who's going to get that extra 6?
Breece Hall, 7 rushes for 50, and he caught 1 pass for 10 yards and a touchdown.
So yeah, who's going to get the touchdown?
I mean, in a PPR league, Sanders I don't think had a touchdown last week. So 50, 60, 7, 13 points for Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If all he had was 96 and a catch, you were outproduced by Breece Hall. The touchdown matters that much more. Like
it's really just the coin flip. But I think Breece Hall is a better shot of getting one this week than Sanders does because, like I said, Hurts likes to run the ball. Even if they're passing the ball, he
Sanders,
likes to
80 yards on the ground.
Just 80 yards on the ground. And
80 yards on the ground, additional 3 points. So yeah, Hall outproduced him last week. That's the thing. It's yes, your yardage is there. Your touchdown is your big factor, and Hall got a touchdown last week. Miles Sanders is going to be the most. Miles Sanders didn't have a touchdown for 2 full seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I thought.
Yeah, it was something like that. You got Carson Wentz doing the Dak Prescott.
You guys said Raiders, right?
Yeah,
Raiders.
I'm going to say Raiders as well.
Raiders.
Jaguars, Chargers.
The Chargers.
Chargers, I think. I know the Jaguars are a little hot, but the Chargers are just a little bit more experienced, and unless Herbert doesn't play, then I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Jaguars. I don't think Herbert's playing. Atlanta Falcons, Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's the favorite.
Falcons.
I think the Falcons are going to rout them.
I think the Falcons.
Seattle's been tough. I'm going to go Seattle.
I just don't trust Geno Smith for shit.
Yeah, I don't trust Geno because it's the same thing as like the Fitzpatrick. What are you going to get that week? What Fitzpatrick going to get that week? What Geno are you going to get that week? It really is.
Yeah. I'm going to go Marcus Mariota runs this, and we go Falcons with Falcons 28-7. Like, they're going to shat on them. Chargers win, but the real question is who will win the crowd reaction? Neither of them. Neither of those two have a real fan base, Frank. It's going to be the quietest game of the NFL season. LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals.
The Rams, just because I think they got a little bit better of an offense there. The defense in Arizona has not looked great, and they got Cooper Kupp on offense. So
I'm going to go with the Rams because I think the Cardinals are frauds.
Jordan Poyer,
they always are frauds.
Officially inactive. I'm going to go with the Cardinals because I don't like the Rams either, and I had to take the Rams on our show over on our Tiki Tribe Productions episode. Just try to get up a leg on Frank. That was the most kamikaze move I could have made. But I think, it's not Double XP weekend, and the new Call of Duty's not out yet, so...
Beta.
Kenyon Drake is inactive.
The beta's this weekend.
Oh, son of a bitch. Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to be so upset saying this on the air for Frank.
I am going to be so upset too because I'm actually going to have to change my pick just because of the Mike Evans suspension, like sticking. So I think that's going to. If Mike Evans plays this game, the Buccaneers win. Without Mike Evans, I don't think they have enough weapons to throw to. I think it slows it down because Chris Godwin's out as well.
Yeah.
So I think I have to change my pick from them to the Packers.
I'm going to go with the Packers as well.
I like the Packers this week. I don't think Tampa will be able to keep them up. Brady's been playing really bad this year. I think the Packers win.
Robert, it's okay. We talked about that earlier. It's going to be. I think the Bills fans are going to really need to hold it together because.
Does that say blow?
Oh no!
Does that say blow pack blow?
Mitch Morse is not playing.
Oh jeez.
Bills official inactives: Mitch Morse, Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, Dane Jackson, Jordan Poyer, Khalil Shakir, Tommy Sweeney.
What's wrong with Shakir?
I think it's just their game planning. All right, come on now. Let's go RotoWire.
What games have we?
49ers, Denver Broncos.
The Denver. No wait, because they got Garoppolo playing. Yeah, I have the Broncos.
I'm gonna go with Broncos because I think it's desperation at this time. You can't slide to
What is it? 0-3?
or 1 well, they go to 1-2, but I think they also understand if they want a playoff spot with the fact that you have Tennessee at 0-2, Indy at 0-2, and the Bengals at 0-2. Those are 3 teams that should have wild card spots.
Yeah.
You want to maintain at least a 1-game lead to try to help yourself. Now, this is desperation move.
I think if you're
Davis
don't
is
win this
in,
game-
Frank. Davis is in.
I think if you don't win this game as a Broncos fan, I'm like, we traded for Russ and paid him $210 million for what?
Yeah. I think
Like-
this is a make or break game for Russ. And the Monday night, Dallas and New York.
What did I have for Dallas and New York? I actually think I put the upset for New York because Cooper Rush being their quarterback, and
You have the Giants.
that's what I meant. The Giants. I said the wrong.
The Giants are 2-0. It would not be the upset. That would be the conventional pick.
Well, I know, but if Dak's playing, I'm taking the Cowboys all day. So like, I think the Giants are my pick there.
All right. I am going to go Giants as well. Gary, how about you?
I'll go with the Giants.
We've got an active starting to roll through. We'll hit those real quick before we get off the air. We already talked about Buffalo, the Chicago Bears, Ryan Griffin, Dane Cruikshank, Jatire Carter, Matt Adams, Jalen Johnson, Velus Jones, the Raiders, Jackson Barton, Britton Brown, Neil Farrell, Andre James, Trayvon Morig, Denzel Perryman, Hunter Renfrow. So it's official there. We can officially dial up Josh Jacobs. He's good to go. I know it was already listed, but officially official. New York Jets, Lawrence Kager, Bryce Hall, Bryce Huff,
Did we get
Denzel Mims.
The just in right there.
What?
You probably didn't get to the Saints yet, right?
No.
Just got the Alvin
Kamara is officially
It's
active.
officially active. Sorry, I could not get his name out.
Zach Wilson.
So you Alvin Kamara owners, fire him up.
Houston Texans, Austin Decolis, Brevin Jordan, Isaac Yiodom, Tyler Johnson, Kurt Hinish, Jake Hansen are officially active as well, or inactives. And as you said, Alvin Kamara is officially up. Hayden Hurst just fired up. Dawson Knox good to go. Jacoby Meyer is officially inactive as well for the Pats. So,
I thought I had him in one league.
guys, I think that'll do it though. Anything else you guys want to say?
Any other questions before we sign off? But no, but thank you for being here. If not, thank you for being here.
Is
We're
the
glad you're
Giants
here.
defense a better option than the Cowboys defense? I truthfully think so, Frank.
Yeah,
I do
would think
too,
so.
yeah.
If you can make that swap and pick up one for the other, I would go with the Giants, quite honestly.
But thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for participating. We love all that stuff. We're glad to have you guys every single week, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely,
Take
guys.
your time out of your day to come watch us. So.
But that'll do it, guys. Go enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy some football.
I'm gonna get
Have
some
some
lunch.
beverages. Get some food. Until next time, though, guys, you keep on looking for those fantasy beasts.